Up guys, so today we're gonna watch something very different, and everybody's probably gonna have a cow. Could you ever wonder that a country encourages for you to get raped purposely based on ethnicity? Could you believe in such things? I know I didn't when I found out from places like India and Thailand, people telling me that there is such thing. Like, how is that possible? Why would a country let you get raped purposely? Well, there is one country like that, and it's out of everybody's knowledge. And imagine being a Muslim in this country. You're probably, as much as it looks like to the world that it supports Pakistan and all these other Muslim countries, but actually the dark side, you're about to find out what happens to female being a citizen or born in that country.
Education camps for the Uyghur Muslim minority are being raped and tortured. The British and US governments are now calling on Beijing to allow independent investigators into the camps. China has denied the allegations and accused the BBC of making a false report. Matthew Hill has spoken to several former detainees for his report, and you may find some of their accounts distressing.
Terzanai Zayawuddin is reliving a story she can barely bring herself to tell. She was held at one of Xinjiang's so-called re-education camps. These satellite images show the site where Terzanai says she was held, sharing a cell with 13 other women. She's haunted by one image: masked men coming down a camp corridor like this one after midnight.
They were 3 men. Not one, but 3. They did whatever evil their mind could think of, and they didn't spare any part of my body, biting it to the extent that it was disgusting to look at. They didn't just rape, they were barbaric. They had bitten all over my body.
The US have granted her safe refuge after investigating her claims. She's waived her right to anonymity and now feels free to speak out about the full extent of the abuse she says she suffered.
They had an electric baton. I didn't know what it was. It was pushed into my private parts, and I was tormented with electric shocks.
It's estimated over 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslims are held in the camps. These never-before-broadcast pictures were filmed secretly in a camp under construction and published by a magazine on religious liberty. Many former camp inmates flee to Istanbul. Some talk of being forced to choose between punishment or complicity in these crimes.
Han Chinese men would pay money to have their pick of the pretty young inmates. My job is to remove their clothes and then handcuff them on their beds so they cannot move.
The testimony of the women we've interviewed has sparked international condemnation. The US State Department said the atrocities they describe shock the conscience. And tonight, President Biden has revealed human rights in China will be a priority for his administration. Here too, in Parliament today, the treatment of the women was condemned by the Foreign Office.
The evidence of the scale and the severity of these violations is now far-reaching. It paints a truly harrowing picture. If China wishes to dispute this evidence, then it must allow unfettered access to the region for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights or another independent fact-finding body.
China has responded to our investigation, insisting its camps are vocational training centres designed to stop Muslims living in the region from turning to extremism. It accuses the BBC of lies and misinformation.
There is no so-called systemic sexual assault and abuse against women. China is a country ruled by law. Our constitution guarantees and protects human rights, and it is embodied in our legal system and the government's work.
These women have spoken out about rape, which in their culture is an unspoken crime, because they want their stories heard. It seems much of the world is listening. Matthew Hill, BBC News.
No, that's not in the religion. I'm going to show one day, I don't know, I don't want to post it on my channel, the Cookie organization, whether Islam is the organization. Terrorists are terrorists, but like every terrorist organization has rape and these type of retarded stuff, right, that you need to rape. But imagine if a country forces you to get raped just because you're this ethnicity, you know? And these are the things that are always away from social media. They're not showed publicity because the politicals always want their glory and make it look like, just like on this documentary, someone stated that, no, our country's clean, nothing like that happens. It does. And same for the Middle East that are Israel's neighbors, like things like that. If you're a Muslim over there, some people may not see this, but trust me, it is there. Like if you're some Sunni Muslim or whatever in these Arab states, knowing that it's a Shia territory, you're not going to survive. Either you're filed or you're dead. Simple as that. This is how just some places work, and you wonder for a second, what the hell? What are you supposed to do? And how are you supposed to react? Now, I'm going to give you an example. I know I'm not from the Middle East, but some people nowadays feel like, if you watched my previous videos, Islamophobia is not a phobia of addiction that you have Islam. No. It's when somebody, so you can look this up on YouTube, when somebody takes your hijab and pulls your hair like this. Now, imagine if somebody actually did that to you. What would you do? What would you react like, guys? Or if somebody pulled your hair through a hijab just like this, you would scream, right? And get punched into the face. That's exactly Islamophobia. People punch you, hate you based on what you dress like, look like in a hijab, and get tortured in it, which is why people were hospitalized. Now, somebody's being hospitalized. How can that possibly be fake? And being attacked by pencils and scars on your skin, and people feel like, no, it's Islamophobic. No, it is. It's real. You just got to read about it. So it's amazing how some nations can do this stuff, and people actually blame, oh, it's your, no. Evil is evil. You don't need a reason, guys. That's all I'm going to conclude it there. So based on this documentary, I hope you learned something. And the world is a mystery. There's a good side and a bad side. You wonder what's what. Take care, guys.